Hello. So I recorded this video before, but because I started venting a whole fucking ton, um, I don't believe I can post that. I might post it because I would like you all to see how angry my toxic family makes me, but I'm gonna need to edit that before I do, because there's a lot. But I am re-recording. Um, so I'm pretty sure I put in the title, like the title said, I got kicked out by my toxic family and would really appreciate some help. I am currently staying at a friend's house, and I have a GoFundMe. It is linked in the description. I made it because I plan to move out of state. And the transportation part is pretty much already done. The money is mostly for when I get there, so I can have some form of foundation under me, so I can use it, and also for food. That's basically it. But I do plan on trying to find an apartment there, like the cheapest one I can, and getting a new job. I don't know if you guys can hear me. I hope you can. There is a lot of disruption going on right now. There's a lot of energetic interference. Um, I'm spiritual, so I believe in that. But in my last video, I tried to explain everything that my aunt, who I called my mom because she was a mother figure to me and because she adopted me and my sibling, but now call my aunt again because she's abusive and toxic. Um, I tried to explain everything my aunt did to me within just a few months, quite honestly. She absolutely did other shit before, within the 3 years that she adopted me and my sibling. But these, four other things were much more significant. 3 or 4. It was the time she kicked me out the first time, where I had to come hang out with my friend for a bit. And she was trying, after she realized she kicked me out, she was trying to gaslight me into thinking that it was my fault, and also gaslight me into thinking that she was telling me to go take a walk, which is incredibly untrue. She screamed, "Get out of my house," in my face. It all started because we were having an argument about blueberries that I forgot to eat. The second thing, she got on my ass, her and my cousin, who is also being gaslighted and manipulated by her. But she had the chance to leave. She's choosing to just fucking stay in this family, even though she knows that her mom sucks ass. But anyway, there was the second thing that happened, where they got on my ass for eating some of my siblings' cake, which I want to put in context. We went to a restaurant for Mother's Day, and at the end we ordered some cake, and I ate a lot of the cheesecake, and my sibling ate a lot of different types of cake. They were eating there were I think 4 cakes, and they were what's the word? They were circulating through the cakes, and I was mostly just focused on the cheesecake because the cheesecake was my favorite. Um, and so because of that, anyway, because of that, they called they called one of like the cakes, they called the tiramisu cake, and I didn't want to do that, but no one would listen to me, so I literally told them I don't want to do that. Like, that's not fair. But none of them would listen to me. And so the day after, uh, I had dinner, and then after I ate the cheesecake, and I want to keep in mind, the chunks of tiramisu were like this big. There were two chunks of these, two chunks of tiramisu. I ate half of one, just half. I left the rest for them, for my sibling. And a week later, they're picking me up from my work, my aunt and my cousin, and they ask me, did I eat my sibling's cake? And I'm like, yes, and I already know what's coming up. So I'm getting defensive because I know what's coming up, because they're making a big deal out of cake. And then we go into a giant argument, my aunt screaming at me, my cousins yelling at me. They're both telling me that I'm in the wrong and that I'm a shitty person, basically. And when I break down crying because I'm tired of them manipulating me like this, my aunt goes up to her room. My aunt goes up to her room. I think she went up to my room, actually. Because I remember hearing her doing something. I'm having an epiphany, but I'm not going to talk about that. I think I just figured something out. But she goes up to her room, and while I'm breaking down crying in the corner of our kitchen because I'm tired and they're just trying to blame me, they're trying to blame me at this point. My cousin half helps, but also half manipulates me into believing that I need to have compassion with this family. When in reality, these people are not going to change. Aunt 1, the one I called my mom, is not going to change. Aunt 2 is not going to change unless she sees how fucking shitty Aunt 1 is, which isn't going to happen anytime soon. And my uncle is not going to change because he believes he is inherently in the right. All of these people are 38 to 41 years old. My uncle being the oldest, my aunt 2 being the youngest. 38 to 41. There's a lot of energetic interference going on right now. I don't know if you can hear me, but they are all encouraging each other to be toxic and shitty, and also manipulating each other and gaslighting each other. It's like a tiny cult, and they're turning my cousin and my sibling into the same type of people. Now, my cousin and my sibling, I care about them deeply, but it is their choice if they want to continue believing them. Because my cousin, she has her feet on the ground. She's getting her own place in a different city. I don't She has the ability to cut them off. But I feel like in some way she might be staying for my sibling because my sibling still has one more year of school. So they have to deal with this for one more year. And I'm hoping that by the end of school, they realize just how toxic that family is. Anyway, wow, there is a lot of interference. It was like basically quiet when I came out here. Like, it was not windy. There was like some birds, and there was just one. There was like someone somewhere else mowing their lawn, but it was like far away. And now this thing wants to start up, the AC. There's a bunch of wind going on. This is energetic interference, y'all. Anyway, that was the second thing that happened. The third thing was kind of in tune with the fourth thing. They're both kind of like the third thing is like context for the fourth thing somewhat. But the third thing is that my my aunt told me that I needed to transfer. They all kind of move into each other, but for the cake thing, no, I'm getting sidetracked. I'll explain more in depth later, but for the third thing, my aunt one made me start paying for my own Ubers to get to work and told me that I have to transfer my name into my phone by graduation, otherwise she's going to cancel my phone bill because she made me pay for everything and I got on her ass for being an asshole for the cake thing, and that was her consequence for me. When in reality, that actually gave me more freedom, so thank you for that. But I was trying to transfer my phone name from her name to mine, and during that time, she suggested Mint Mobile. And it was a good suggestion at the time. Now, I don't believe anything that she tells me or want any of her suggestions, but at the time, she was like, oh, it's 15 a month, it's really cheap, you can, like, pay it really easily, and I was like, that's actually a really good idea. I can do that. So I go on the official website and the official channel and start researching how to do that, and it turns out in order to transfer, I need like her account number for Spectrum Mobile, because that was the original thing that we had, the original phone service. In order to transfer from that to Mint Mobile, I needed her account number and something else. Keep in mind, she is the one that suggested Mint Mobile. I do not believe that she would not have suggested it to me if she didn't do some amount of research. At least I would like to believe that, but I don't really know anymore. Anyway, she suggested it to me. So I tell her this, and she's like, that sounds like a scam. And I'm like, what? I'm on the official website, I'm on the official app, I'm on the official YouTube channel, official for all of them. And I'm telling her this, and she's like, no, that still sounds like a scam. You shouldn't need to use my account number. And in my mind, I'm like, why? Like, one, why are you making this more difficult than it needs to be? Two, you're the one that suggested this to me. Why would you not know this already in the first place? So either one, she didn't do the proper research and just recommended some random ass service to me, which is really shitty because she's supposed to be my mom, or was supposed to be my mom. And two, either she did that, or she does know that I need her account number, and she does know that I need all of this information. She's just not giving it to me because she doesn't fucking want to. only that, but after this, I find out that someone used $1.06 using my card, and my bank called me saying that someone used $1.06. Keep in mind, I checked my bank one time and saw that and thought, I did not use my money recently. What happened? Why is there minus $1.06? I am pointing out the price, the amount, because I feel that is very significant. And I just convinced myself I probably used my money at some point, even though I did not use my money for 5 months. No, for 3 months. 5 or 3 months, I did not use my money. At least not my bank money. I might have used some cash, but that's not even related to my bank, so I did not use my money at all. And yet there was a price thing for something else, and I told my aunt this, and she was like, maybe you went on some random ass site that took your money. And I thought maybe, yeah, that could have happened, but knowing her, I don't believe that. I genuinely believe that at some point in time she could tell that I was distancing myself from her, because this was a thing that I had been doing for a while, because I was starting to realize how cult-like that family is. She had realized that I had been distancing myself from her, and as a way to get my card blocked, to make me think that someone had access to my card, she used my card. She used my card, because, more context, I went out, whenever I went to work, whenever I did anything, I did not bring my card with me. I did not bring my card with me because at some point in time I had used too much money on stuff that I did not need. Though that was mostly Crystal's. That was mostly Aunt One's belief. I'm gonna cut that part out. But no, I'm keeping her name in. I'm not name dropping all of them. But you'll know who this is. Because she is crazy. Anyway. So, my card was always at home, always in my room, always on my drawer. Always on my drawer. Like, in plain sight. So unless someone broke in and used $1.06, which if it was someone that broke in, they would not use that much money. They would use so much more money. The amount is incredibly significant. Either that's energetic interference or my ancestors are telling me that I am on point, which I believe is the latter. Um, the amount of money is concerning because it was just $1.06. If someone broke in, they would use over like $10 at least. They would not use that much money. So I am convinced that she used my card at some point in time without asking me, without telling me. That or it was someone else in my family. Anyway. So during that, my card got blocked. my Aunt Crystal still was not giving me what I needed to transfer my name to my phone and to start paying for my own phone bill. And then this translates to what happens next, to the fourth thing. She did not go to my graduation. This was all a week before my graduation, and I was stressing about this because I really needed to do this. Bad thing after bad thing after bad thing. And I was worried that my phone was going to get canceled. I wasn't going to be able to go to work without her help, and I did not want to rely on this woman because this woman would manipulate me. I knew that she would. And at some point, she texted me something, and I thought, I always respond to her text because I feel obligated to. I always give her some form of reaction. I'm tired, I'm angry at her, I'm not doing this. I'm not responding. I'm not giving her a reaction. And in the middle of the day, while me and my sibling are at school, she makes a group chat saying that she has left the city and that someone else needs to drive me to my graduation. Keep in mind, my graduation is 4 days. Is in 4 days. I want to repeat, my graduation was in 4 days. And she left because I didn't respond to her text. Because she saw that I was distancing myself. And she wanted to make a giant reaction so that I come back to her. Because that's all she knows how to do. She thinks that if she makes a giant fucking reaction, it'll scare me into submitting to her. Anyway, my aunt too had to frantically figure out how to get me and my sibling and my girlfriend at the time to my graduation because I had invited my girlfriend, or my ex-girlfriend. I had invited my ex-girlfriend to my graduation. My girlfriend at the time, but I'm rejecting my friends. Oh my god. My girlfriend at the time, but I'm going to say she's my ex-girlfriend because she is now my ex-girlfriend. Nothing bad happened there, it's just... Anyway. My aunt too is frantically panicking, trying to figure out a way to get me to graduation. My cousin is also kind of stressed, trying to figure out a way to get us home from graduation because my aunt too cannot drive us back home because she has work. Like at the end of my graduation, like halfway through the day, and yet still in this moment they are looking for excuses for this woman. They are panicking, trying to figure out a way to get me to graduation, something that should not be their responsibility. And yet they are still making excuses for this woman. My aunt too told me there might have been some lesson she was trying to teach me. What lesson was my Aunt Crystal trying to teach me in that moment? To rely on her? To be codependent with her? Because that's the only thing I can think of. My uncle made the excuse that it was a PTSD attack. That's bullshit. I don't care what type of mental bullshit you have going on in your head. You missed your perceived child's graduation, a child that you adopted, who is still related to you, who is still your nephew, who saw you as your mom. Energetic interference. You adopted me and my sibling. You chose to do that. And you can't even make it to my graduation because what? You're having a temper tantrum? You're having a panic attack? You're feeling insecure? So you need to what? Ignore your emotions, ignore your feelings, and go but fuck nowhere? in the middle of New Mexico on the fucking property you bought to pretend like you're a different person. Anyway, they're all making excuses for her. I start realizing I can't trust them either because they're making excuses for her. And that's it. She didn't go to my graduation. And before my graduation, throughout that short time frame, I realized I cannot rely on her. I need to do this all on my own. So you want to know what I did? I replaced my debit card on my own using my school ID. I got my own phone. And I figured out a way to get my girlfriend at the time to my graduation. I had to plan with them, like actively plan with them to get her to my graduation. Because Crystal could not be bothered to even stay, to even just go on a walk because of her PTSD attack. If you're having a PTSD attack, I like maybe for some people, no, I'm not even gonna excuse it. Like just because you're like I don't even believe that it was a PTSD attack. I believe that she was feeling incredibly insecure and angry, and she could tell that I was distancing myself from her, and that's why she left. She felt guilty for what she did to me, but she didn't want to acknowledge it. She never wants to acknowledge the guilt she's feeling. She never wants to acknowledge any of her negative emotions unless they are feeling like a victim, because she inherently believes she is a victim. Energetic interference. Or confirmation. I believe that was confirmation, actually, because that only happened for like a split second. Confirmation. And now we are on the fifth thing, which is now my life, which honestly I feel very free in this moment. I simply just need some help. Not from them, but just like money. I just need some money. I'll figure it all out on my own. All I need is some money. But the reason why they kicked me out in the first place is because I was using Ubers to go to work and hang out with my friends. And even then, I wasn't hanging out with them that much. I hung out with them before this like 4 times. And most of the time, that was just my girlfriend. I was hanging out mostly with my girlfriend at the time. I didn't even hang out with any of my friends. I was mostly just hanging out with my girlfriend. The only friend I hung out with was one person. That's it. And they drove me. They had a car. They have a truck. She drove me. And I ordered an Uber to go to my girlfriend's after that. Not only that, but I was using it for Uber Eats because I was in hermit mode. If you're spiritual, you know what that means. But basically, I was distancing myself and isolating myself from that family because I knew that they were toxic and shitty, and that I didn't want to be subjected to that. So I stayed in my room most of the time when I was still living there. And because of that, I did not want to have to go downstairs to make myself food using the food that she bought, because that felt like I was relying on her, and I'm tired at this point. I don't want to rely on her for anything. I want to be independent. So I'm buying my own food. There were only 2 or 3 times that I like used her food to cook in that period of time. Everything else I bought on my own. I got my own Ubers. I got Uber Eats. I got my own food. And I want to bring up during the cake thing, as a consequence, I think I told you this, energetic interference. I think I told you this, but she made me use my money that I saved. So when I started energetic interference, they don't want me to tell you this. When I first started working, I had help from my job coaches at school. There was a job coaching class, and the only thing Crystal did was drive me to and from work. Even then, I would sometimes use Ubers, and she allowed me to use her credit card for that. That's it. That's all she did. That's all she was my transportation. And throughout that entire time, she made me save up to 3,000 for emergency savings. There's so much energetic interference right now. She does not want me to tell you this, but she made me save up until 3,000. And my girlfriend at the time told me that that felt like some form of power. Felt like some form of power play over me. And at the time, I was like, no, it's a pretty good idea to make me save up till 3,000. And now I don't know how to feel. A part of me is like, yeah, that was a pretty good idea. But at the same time, she made me use my money. When I was $30 away from 3,000, I was I was going to feel so rewarded in that moment. I was going to feel so proud of myself. And she took that away from me. All because I wouldn't own up to eating some fucking cake. And so I started using my money on my own to order my own Ubers and shit. And then, after all of that, right before she was about to kick me out, her and my aunt too, Crystal and my aunt too, make a group chat telling me that I'm using too much of my money. Keep in mind, I started off with 2,930 bucks. Throughout, like, a month and a half, 2 months, throughout 2 months, I was down to $2,240 something dollars. That's nothing. I used half of my money, or almost half. You want to know what someone else my age would do? Spend all of that money within that time frame. I am 18 years old. I only used it. I mostly only used it for Ubers and Uber Eats. The only times I didn't use it for that was when I wanted to reward myself in some way because I was proud of myself for being responsible and for being independent. So I bought myself some crystals and a necklace. That's it. And I spent it on like some lotion, but that's also it. And that's like a necessary need. So like I spent it on lotion, some crystals, and a necklace. Everything else was Uber and Uber Eats. Even then, it's my money. So I don't have to explain shit. And she wants to get on my ass in a group chat saying that I'm using too much of my money when I want to, again, tell you all, I earned this money. She did not get me that job. She did not give me any of that money. I earned all of this money through working at my job. The only thing she did was provide transportation because I don't have a driver's license. And even then, that is the most basic thing a parent should do for their child. is provide transportation to and from their job if they have the ability to, and if they have the time. And she did. So congrats, Crystal, for doing the bare minimum. Congrats. And the crowd goes wild. After this, I tell her, that's my money. I'm not gonna stop using my money just because you think I'm using it too much, when I know what I'm doing. I am being very aware of how much money I have in my bank account at this moment. I am making sure I know how much the price is that I'm buying the thing from. I am making sure to order cheap food. And I'm also making sure that that food is healthy in some way. I am making sure everything is in order. I am being responsible. I am feeding myself. And I tell her again and again, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not listening to you. I am 18. I am an adult. This is my money. I earned it. You don't get to tell me jack shit. And at this point in time, we had planned that I was going to move in with my aunt too, but I didn't want to do that, so I was still looking for different apartments that I could move into because I did not want to live with any of my family members because I did not trust any of them anymore. And so she comes up to my room and starts screaming at me. My aunt too starts screaming at me or yelling or just making some dumbass excuses for this 40-year-old woman who's acting like a teenager because wham, I don't have control over my 18-year-old child or someone that I perceived as my child anymore. Wham. And they kick me out. Crystal tells me to pack my bags and get out of her house. And I'm like, fine. I'll go spend time with my friend. I am currently at my friend's house. I'll do that. Because I knew that they would take me in. This person's amazing, by the way. Them and their family are the best people. I am so grateful. I am so goddamn grateful for them. After that, I spend the night at my friend's place. I tell my friend that I wasn't able to take a hoodie with me that they bought for me, or that their dad bought for me at a concert that we went to. And there's actually like 5 things that she did. Wow, I didn't even think to mention this one, but after that, my friend is like, that hoodie feels very special to me. I know you weren't able to take it with you, but I really want you to have it because it feels like a symbol of our friendship. And I'm like, all right, if you want, you can go get it from them. And so they text Crystal because they have her in their phone, because at some point they gave each other their phone numbers. And my friend is like, hey, there is a hoodie and some things in there that I really that Ambrosia's my name, that Ambrosia would like. Well, Ambrosia's my dead name. I don't know. I'm still figuring out what I want my name to be. I think once I move, I'm going to finally change my name to Rosette. But for now, everyone's just kind of calling me Ambrosia because that's like the name that I went by. And I'm honestly too tired to really, like, tell people. Like, I told everyone, but it's kind of hard to remember. I don't care. I'm just gonna change. I'm gonna fully change my name to Rosette later. But anyway, they're like, I would really like Ambrosia to have that hoodie. Ambrosia also needs some of their things, blah blah blah. They text Crystal this, and Crystal texts back, you cannot come get their things. Ambrosia needs to come get their things on their own. And I'm like, okay, my friend is letting me stay at their place. If they really want me to have this hoodie, I can do this for them. So we ask my Aunt Crystal when is a good time to come over to their place, because yesterday, also today was the day we were supposed to go to their place to get my things, but we weren't able to do that. We're not able to do that for reasons that I'm about to say. But yesterday, on Saturday, I had work, so I wasn't able to go in and get my stuff. So we planned to come over on Sunday. And Crystal says, I don't have a good time right now for you to come over. When she just agreed to allow me to come over to get my things. And my friend says, me and my friend agree, okay, if she's not going to make a time, we will make a time for her. We tell her, we will come over on Sunday to get my things. And you want to know what she does? Takes all of my clothes and my bedding and brings it to their house and then tells the group chat that she made of my friend and their parents that all of my other things are at my biological mom's house. Keep in mind, my biological mom was a drug addict, now turned crazy Christian lady, who is an incredibly giant trigger for me. My uncle also, when I was leaving the house and ordered an Uber to go to my friend's house, told me that I could go to my bio mom's house and that it sounded crazy, but I could stay there for a while. They all know that she is a giant trigger for me, and if I stay around her for too long, I will have a PTSD attack. I will have a panic attack. I will shut down. They are doing this so that I am in a state of so much emotional turmoil that I am easy to manipulate. The fact that she even mentioned my biological mom's house in the first place triggered me. The fact that all of my belongings were over there, because I knew that when I was younger, she had sold almost half of my toys that I did not give her permission to sell. When I was moving in, me and my sibling were moving in with my dad because they had a giant argument and she kicked him out. And he said, I'm not leaving you with my kids. So he brought us with him. And she sold half of our toys. And that was incredibly traumatizing for me because my toys were one of my ways to cope with whatever trauma I was going through. And because I didn't have a childhood, they were one of the only things that I felt were connected to my childhood. And my Aunt Crystal gave almost like all of my other belongings that weren't just my clothes and my bedding to her. All of my art, all of my jewelry, everything. So now I no longer have any of those things. I only have 3 bags of toys, tiny little toys, because I planned to sell them on eBay to get some money. But I can't do that because I don't have my social security number, which is at her house. And I'm not going back to their house to get that. And the only way I can get my social security number back is if I ask my bank and I have an ID, which I don't have currently. So I need to get a driver's license. So yeah, I am no longer in contact with that toxic family. I blocked all of them on my phone. If anyone else that I did not block contacts me, I will block them. Because there are some family members that I don't have on the phone that are have on this phone that have not been blocked. And if they contact me and tell me that they are one of my family members, I'm going to block them unless they heatedly say that they are on my side. Because at this point, I know that everyone in that family is fucking crazy. And I'm not staying in contact with any of them because they are going to try to manipulate me into allowing Crystal back into my life, which is not going to happen. I also believe that there is some form of racism going on because I am the darkest person in my family, and that entire family is full of white people. The only other people that are people of color are one of my other uncles who was adopted by my grandparents, who is also the same color as me, my sibling, who is also half black, but who is white passing because they are incredibly light skinned, and my cousin, who is half Filipino. Those are the only people of color in that family. Everyone else is white. So there has to be some form. And my uncle isn't even over there. And also, my cousin and my sibling are both white passing, or at least light skinned Latina passing. Which, light skinned Latina isn't better, but it's better than a dark skinned black person or someone that looks black. And I'm not saying this to pin races against each other. I'm saying this because it is a fact that I would be more discriminated against rather than my sibling because I am dark. I am a darker skin color. I am tired, and I am not staying in the city. I am moving to a different city. I'm not going to say which city just in case Crystal and the other fuckers watch this video, but I am moving to a different city in a different state. I am not staying in this state. I am not staying in this city. I am leaving. And I only have a short amount of time until I do leave. I'm going to be leaving on a specific date that you can find in my GoFundMe. Well, they can probably get to that GoFundMe anyway, so. I'm leaving on the 20th. And during that period of time, I would really appreciate if you could, the person watching this that isn't a fuck ass family member or isn't friends with one of the fuck ass family members and inherently believes that they are in the right, I would really appreciate if you donated at least a little bit of money to me. My goal is 2,000. My current goal right now is 800, but my main goal is $2,000. I'm going to use that money to I'm going to use that money to have some form of financial stability so that I can find something or some place that I can live, and also for food. And if you can't donate, I would really, really appreciate if you shared my GoFundMe and if you shared this video around as well. Because people need to hear how crazy that family is. And also people need to hear that how crazy that family is so that they are able to compare it to their current family that might also be crazy. Energetic interference. Or confirmation. I'm not sure which one it is. I think it's energetic interference. Because it wasn't just short. It went on for a little bit longer. It felt like it was trying to distract. But anyway, if your family even sounds slightly if this sounds even slightly familiar or similar to your family, run, leave. You will be so much well off. And if you don't have the ability to, slowly figure out a way to. Energetic interference. People don't want you to hear this. They don't want you to hear this. Whoever's watching and you got this far and to right now to what I'm saying, they don't want you to hear this. But I'm going to tell you, you will always have the ability to leave. And if you don't, you will make the ability to leave. If you don't have a job, you will get a job. If you don't have a bank account, you will make your own without their help. Do not allow it to be connected to whatever they have. It will be your own bank account. If you're in the state of Texas, I'm pretty sure you are able to make your own bank account simply being a student. But if you're not able to do that, I'm probably going to dox myself right now, but if you are in the city of Round Rock, and you are in the Round Rock district, you are able to make your own bank account because you are simply a student. But I'm unsure, but I do believe that it also connects to Texas as well. I'm pretty sure you can do this on all around Texas, but I'm not sure about that one. I just know that if you are in the city of Round Rock and you are in the Round Rock district, you can do that. Get your own bank account, get your own job. If you're able to, get your own ID, get your own car. Do not ask for their help. Do not rely on them. If you're able to figure out a way to get your own food, figure out a way to disconnect yourself from them. Because if you are with them, they are likely very codependent. They are very gaslighty, very manipulative. If they sound at all similar to my family, your family is gaslighting you. Your family is manipulating you, and they are incredibly codependent, and you need to leave. You need to run. Figure out any way. If you don't have your own car or your own driver's license, if you have a state ID, you're able to access your bank better from that. If you have a passport, you can access your bank. That is a form of legal ID. If you have a passport, you can energetic interference. If you have a passport, you are able to access your bank account and your social security number through that. I am just saying this in a general the United States of America. I don't know how this translates to other countries, but I know that in the United States of America, you need a legal form of ID, which includes driver's license, state ID, or passport. And if you have any of those things, you are able to access your bank account. If you don't have your social security number, you are able to access your social security number through your bank account. And I do believe that you need your social security number in order to make a bank account. So dig through your parents or whoever guardian you're with at the time. Dig through their stuff. Do not ask them if you can dig through their stuff. Dig through their stuff. Find your social security number. If you can't find that, you'll figure out a way. If you can't find that, save up cash. Save up jars of cash. Save up just a bunch of cash. Figure out ways to just disassociate from them. Disconnect. If you can't find a job, if you can't find an ID, if you can't have a bank account, save up cash. Save up all of your cash. Find a way. Hide it in a place they will not find it. Because if they find it, they will likely use it. Or they will likely tell you, why are you hiding this from us? You don't need to hide this from us. We're your family. You should tell us when you're getting money. Don't. You do not owe your family jack shit. That is a... Oh my god, so much energetic interference. That is a stupid ass societal norm that has been created so that people just feel obligated to stay with people that they don't even like. It's how the patriarchy controls us. One of the ways, at least. You are not obligated to stay with your family. Blood is not thicker than water. Your family is who you make it. If you desire a found family, then you are getting a found family. You simply need to cut these people off first. And even then, you probably don't. You probably already have your found family. You can... So much energetic interference. They do not want me to tell you this. If you already have a found family, which you probably do, I would expect maybe, hopefully, a lot of people would see this. I would expect a lot of people to see this video. But if you already have a found family that you know you can trust, you know they aren't gaslighting you or manipulating you, you can rely on them as a shoulder to cry on, or rely on them to help you get out of your toxic situation. It's not a bad thing to rely on people. You just need to know who you can trust. You need to know who you can trust. You need to act with discernment. And I really hope you can hear me, because there is a lawnmower going on right as I was about to say this. There's so much shit. There's so much shit coming out of nowhere, because I'm telling you, your family doesn't want you to know this. If you're spiritual like me, your birth-given right is success. If you were spiritual like me, the fact that you're seeing this and you got to this point in time in the video, your birth-given right is success. Your birth-given right is abundance. You are going to be abundant, one way or another. The universe is going to give you abundance. But that's not to say that it won't be hard. There are moments that are going to be incredibly difficult, that you're going to want to give up on your faith. But don't. I am where I am because I believed in the universe, and because I believed in the universe, I believed in myself. Spirituality isn't just inherently believing in the universe and believing that crystals are going to heal you. No. It's believing in the universe within us. It's believing in ourselves and manifesting, creating our lives. We are co-creators with the universe. And in turn, we are co-creators with ourselves. Spirituality isn't... So much energetic interference, dude. Oh my god. Spirituality isn't just believing in the universe or some god or some afterlife. It's believing that... Energetic interference. Or that was confirmation. I think that was confirmation. It's believing that you will always have some form of support. In yourself, either spiritually with the angels and the... That's energetic interference. I'm going to say this. Either spiritually with angels or your ancestors or anyone around you trying to help you that isn't in the physical realm, or physical with people that you can genuinely trust. that are genuinely rooting for you, that want you to be happy. If I am able to cut off my toxic family and order a bus trip out of state in a different city, you can do that too. I believe in you just as much as I believe in myself. So much energetic interference, they don't want you to hear this. And if you're not spiritual, I still believe in you. You still have the ability to fully believe in yourself. I don't care if you feel nihilistic about the world and if you feel like the world is out to get you. Let go of that belief. That belief is what is causing you to not be able to fully disconnect from your family. That is what is making it so easy for them to manipulate you. Because you are holding on to the belief that you cannot do better, that you are going to stay in this spot forever. You need to let go of that belief. You need to learn how to fully love yourself and how to fully disconnect by fully believing in your ability to do shit. Right now, we have it like a lot of people want to say that America sucks ass, and America does suck ass. I am not saying that it doesn't. Donald Trump fucking sucks. Our government is ass. Our government is terrible. But compared to so many other countries, we have it very good. It was incredibly easy for me to order a bus trip. I just had to go on the website and do that. That was so easy. If it's that easy to do that, at least with a card and a bank account, how easy is it for everything else? All it is just waiting times, basically, at this point. Our our ancestors and parents, and I don't want to excuse anything they're doing. Older people, I'm gonna say that instead. Our ancestors and older people definitely had it more difficult when trying to disconnect from their toxic families. And I am not saying that in order to excuse what your parents are doing to you, or in order to say, or to victim blame you, because I'm not blaming you. I am saying this as a way to say that it is easy for you, or easier for you. You just need to disconnect from from those people. I am not blaming you. I am saying that you have the ability, you have the chance. You need to take it. Otherwise, you're going to be miserable forever. And there are going to be times when you are going to doubt yourself. Because that's always what happens with gaslighters, with manipulators. When you are in the transition period of disconnecting from them, there are going to be moments of doubt, maybe extreme doubt, that you cannot do this. You have to go back to them. You cannot do this on your own. You don't have the ability to. You need to squish all of that doubt. Energetic interference. They don't want you to hear this. And if you're not spiritual, I don't know. It's fucking you have the ability to leave your toxic family. Everything is online right now. And that's what makes it so much easier. And if you don't have a bank account, if you don't have an ID, you still have the ability to. You still have your things. Hell, if you're still in school, you still have your ID, your school ID. That's a form of legal documentation. You can use your school ID. At least if I know that you can in Texas or in Round Rock. You have that. Go make a bank account. Don't tell your family. Go get a job. Don't tell your family. Find excuses. Find ways to get to your job without telling your family. Tell them that you joined in a after school activity and that your friends are going to drop you off at home. And if they figure it out, leave. Pack your bags early so that you have something to bring with you. Get whatever legal documentation you can that your parents might have of you or your legal guardian might have of you. Dig through their things. Be sneaky. Do it. Free yourself. You can't wait for someone to come and be your knight in shining armor or your knight or your princess or your hero. You can't wait. You need to be your own hero. Stop being the hero of everyone else's story, because if you're like me, that's what you were doing. Stop being the caregiver. Stop being the people pleaser. That's not saying cut everyone out of your life unless you feel like you need a clean slate. That's what I feel like I need. I'm not saying just be an asshole and don't be forgiving and don't be grateful for everything that everyone has done for you, everything that you have. I'm saying be assertive. Care enough for yourself to put strict boundaries. If you feel like you need to cut everyone out of your life, then do it. And if you feel that you have friends that will understand, or maybe even some family members, I don't want to say that, but I feel like there is a small percentage of you who feel that some of your family members can be somewhat trustworthy. They're just also in the shithole of what you're dealing with. But use your discernment when I say this. If you feel like there are some people that will understand why you need to do this, then tell them. Tell them your reasoning. Tell them your feelings. They deserve to know. And if you don't owe them anything, but it'll make it easier if you tell them. So that, no, I'm not going to say that. It will make it easier if you tell them. Because then they won't be angry at you. But if it is an emergency and you need to leave, then leave. You have the ability to. I don't want to hear you in the comments saying, no, I don't have this, that, and the other, I can't do this, I don't have that. I don't care. I care about your situation. I care about what you're going through. Every one of your feelings is valid. But you are making it harder for yourself. Everyone in my generation, or almost everyone, it is so normal for all of us to believe that the world is against us, and for us to fall into nihilism, for us to believe that we can't do something because X, Y, and Z exists, or we can't do that thing because we have to do these extra steps. That is not true. You have the ability to do anything. You just need to start. People are just too scared to, because they're holding on to their childhood so much. That's why nostalgia is such a big factor in our generation. People are scared to grow up because they never had a childhood in the first place. So they want their childhood to be their adulthood when that can't happen. It's sad and it sucks and it's miserable. All of us deserve to have a childhood. Everyone does. But you don't always get that, sadly. And in order to be happy in your adult life, you need to acknowledge that you didn't have a childhood and you need to process through those emotions. You can't wallow. A lot of people think processing is wallowing. That is not the same thing. You need to process through it and then let it go. Fully. You need to let go of all of it. You need to understand, I didn't have a childhood. I was traumatized. And I hold my childhood self. I hold the child in me. And tell them that it is okay. And tell them that they deserved better. And then you let it go. And maybe part of letting it go is burning some of your toys. Maybe part of letting it go is selling them or giving them to other people, or maybe just keeping them in a separate room so that you can just look at them. I doubt that, but there might be a small percentage of you. Whatever your process is your process. You cannot copy other people. You cannot fake confidence. Because confidence cannot be something that is faked. Like, maybe you can fake your confidence, but that's not real confidence. You're just faking so that other people don't worry about you. You're not faking so that you feel good about yourself. And maybe you are. Maybe the start for you is fake it till you make it, and then you genuinely get confidence. That's how I started. But for some of you, it might be the opposite. I'm not saying hurt yourself and call yourself a dumbass and say you're a terrible person, because you're not. You are not a terrible person. Anyone is able to be redeemed. I fully believe that. And people throw that. God damn. People throw that term around a lot. Anyone is able to be redeemed, or anyone can get better. But they don't mean it. They mean it until it's someone that isn't so incredibly traumatized that their trauma somewhat affects other people, or their mental health disorder is looked down on. Their mental health disorder is automatically assumed to make them a bad person, and that is not true. The only way No, I'm not even gonna say that. You have the ability to do better. Everyone deserves better. What matters is how you're treating people. And everyone has free will. I can't stop you from hurting another person. But in order to truly be happy, you can't hurt other people. And I can't stop you. I do not believe any amount of harm to other people will truly make anyone happy. That is an inherent lie. I can't stop you from doing it. I can't stop you from hurting yourself. I can't stop you from hurting other people or yourself. You have the free will. But that doesn't mean it'll make you better. It will only hurt you. You will only get worse. If you genuinely want to be better, you need to learn how to love yourself. Genuinely. Fully. You need to learn how to take accountability. Fully. Because a lot of people like to pretend that they do. They do not. You need to learn if you have a victim complex, if you have an inferiority complex, survivor complex, any type of complex, God complex, you need to figure that out and work through that shit. And be like, I am human. Any type of thing that happens only proves more that I am human. If it's a God complex, you need to remind yourself, I'm human. I'm not a divine being on a different realm. I'm purely human. And maybe if you're spiritual, you have some God-given gifts. Still makes you human. You are first and foremost a human. Everything else you are after. You are inherently, it is impossible for you to not make a mistake. You are human. And you deserve love just as much as everyone else. I don't care what you've been through. I don't care who you've hurt. I don't care what you've done. You deserve love. Because the reason you did those things in the first place is because you were hurt too. And that is not an excuse. Unless you are under 18 years old, even then, unless you are under 24 years old, I'm not going to excuse your behavior. No, unless you are under Yeah, unless you are under 24 years old, I'm not going to excuse your behavior. Because 24-year-olds, year 1 to 24, is when your brain is developing. And maybe you're biologically female. Your brain is going to develop at either 21 or 22. So if you're biologically female, you're under 22 years old, and you've done some terrible shit, you have the excuse of, my brain was developing. I am still learning. That doesn't mean allow it to give you the excuse to do other things. And it really depends on your age. If you are 22, if you're 21, you have the excuse of, my brain is still somewhat developing. My brain is almost done. I did this at a point in time where I did not fully understand myself or what I was doing. But that doesn't mean it is okay. You need to look back on that and recognize what you did wrong. Fully recognize what you did wrong. And do the work to be better. And if you are doing that, you are miles better than the other people that refuse to do that. They refuse to look at themselves and be like, I did something shitty. I need to atone for it. I need to get better. I need to learn from this mistake. Energetic interference. They don't want you to hear this. And if you are under 18, you have even more of an excuse. You were a child. You were a baby. I don't care if you're 17. I don't care if you're 18. If you're 18 and under, you have an excuse. You were a child. You were a baby. I don't care if you're legally seen as an adult when you're 18. You are in the transition period. 18 is a number that is in a transition period from child to adult. 18 is the transition period. The transition period. 18 and under, you have the excuse, I was a child. I don't care what the fuck you did. You were a child, you were traumatized likely, and that is why you did the shit you did. You didn't understand it, and you were traumatized. You learned from other people. You learned toxic behaviors from other people in your family, around you, in your community, in your school, in your class, wherever the fuck, online. You learned all of this shit from somewhere else, believing that it was okay because you were a child and you were very easily influenceable. And if you are not a child, if you are not under 22, acknowledge what you did was wrong. You have no excuse. And if you acknowledge it and recognize that you don't have an excuse for your behavior, and you recognize that you are going to get better, and you forgive yourself for what you did, it's a squirrel. Confirmation. It's a squirrel right next to me. If you acknowledge what you did was wrong, and you are doing what you can to get better, everything you can to get better, become a better person, love yourself more, love people, care about other people's opinions. I don't care what your mental disorder is. I don't care who you are, what you've done. If you're doing the work to get better, you are miles better than the people that have done the same fucking thing and are not acknowledging that they were in the wrong. I believe in you. If no one else believes in you, I believe in you. I believe in the inherent good in people. We are not born evil. We are born innocent, pure. We don't know anything. I don't believe that we are born good or bad. We are born a child, a baby. Everything that happens to us, everything that we do is because we were taught to do that thing. If you are violent towards other people, it's because you were taught to be violent when you were younger. If you are a pervert towards other people, it's because you were taught to do that when you were younger. If you people please, it's because you were taught to do that when you were younger. You were taught to do all of these things. And if you are working to get better, that makes you miles ahead other people that have done the same fucking thing and that don't acknowledge it. That are either hurting other people themselves or both. You are doing the work to get better. You acknowledge that you hurt other people. You acknowledge that you hurt yourself. And you are forgiving yourself for it. If other people don't forgive you, that is fine. They don't owe you their forgiveness. But you owe yourself forgiveness. Otherwise, you can never fully be happy. You need to forgive yourself. And other people might tell you you're not allowed to forgive yourself. You're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to be happy because you hurt other people. That's bullshit. People who tell other people that they did something wrong because of the thing that they did wrong, they do not deserve to be happy, are not happy in themselves. Want those people to feel like shit because they feel that they are better than them in some way because they didn't do the same thing they did. Everyone deserves to be happy. Everyone deserves to love themselves because if they don't, they will hurt another person or they will hurt themselves. We need to let go of this belief that there are specific people that cannot be redeemed. Everyone can be redeemed. Anyone. Everyone and anyone can be redeemed in some fucking way. If they are doing the work to get better, that is miles ahead than the people that have done the same fucking thing as them and that refuse to get better, that refuse to change. Acknowledge it and forgive yourself for it. Confirmation. Acknowledge it and forgive yourself for it. Acknowledge you did something wrong. Feel the guilt. Feel the pain. Allow yourself to feel it. Allow yourself to grieve. Allow yourself to feel all of these emotions that we deem as negative. Because they're not inherently negative. No feeling is inherently negative or positive. We just assume it is. We just like give that we just assume that it is because it feels bad or good. Just because it feels bad or good doesn't mean the emotion is inherently bad or good. The emotion is teaching you something in that moment. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to acknowledge what you did was wrong and forgive yourself for it. You deserve to move on. If everyone around you is not allowing you to move on, cut them out. If one person around you is not allowing you to move on and forgive yourself and be a better person, cut them out. They are not aligned with you. They do not care about you. They are going on their own journey and they inherently believe they are better than you simply because you did something worse than them. Or because maybe you didn't even do anything worse than them. Maybe you did the same thing as them. And they believe that they're better than you for some reason. They want to bring you down to their level. Maybe you did so much for them and they don't realize that you did so much for them. And they have a victim complex and they're not acknowledging that. Cut them out. I know it's hard. I know it's easy to just say to cut them out. But it will make you happy. You will feel better. You will feel like a weight is lifted off of your shoulders. That is how I felt the moment I did this. The moment I realized I needed a clean slate. I felt like a weight was lifted off of my shoulders. And I am so grateful for my friend for allowing me to stay at their place. I am so grateful for all of my other friends for supporting me through this. And I'm grateful that they understand that I need a new slate. I need a clean slate. Simply because you need a clean slate does not mean you are not grateful. Do not allow someone to make you believe that. Do not allow people to guilt trip you into believing that. You do not owe anyone anything. Not unless you hurt them. That's wrong. The only people you owe are the people that you owe an apology to. The people that you hurt. If you have given everything to another person, you have not hurt them in any significant way, they look for reasons to be mad at you, they owe you. You only owe the people that you have harmed. You owe them an apology, and you owe them redemption. That is it. You don't owe them your life. You don't owe them your money, not unless that's part of your redemption. Not unless that's part of being a better person. Use what I say with discernment. Listen to what I say with discernment. The only people you owe are the people that you harmed. And if you are doing better, if you have become a better person, if you have changed and you have done everything you can to earn their forgiveness, and they still want to not let it go, they don't want to move on, because no one owes you for their forgiveness. But in order to fully acknowledge that you have become a better person, they need to move on. And in turn, I feel like part of that is learning to have forgive you. Still acknowledging that you hurt them and not fully forgiving you, but acknowledging that you have become a better person and learning to trust you again. If they are not doing that, if they are holding it over your head, if they are saying you can never get better, or acting like you can never get better, cut them out. You deserve better, and you will get better. I felt like a channel. I felt like I channeled all of that energy. Someone here needed to hear that. My GoFundMe is in the description. My current goal is 800. My main goal is 2,000. I would appreciate any form of money, even just a penny. I will celebrate that genuinely. If you can share it, if you can't donate, if you can share it, that would be amazing. If you can share, if you can tell people, even if it's just word of mouth, I would deeply appreciate that. I love all of you. You are all beautiful, and we are all in this together.